we moved it here because this is Laboucan Lake, the reserve, and it's also closer to the people from Little Buffalo. Because last year a lot couldn't go because of the transportation, and I also wanted people to experience being here. Like they haven't really been. A lot of the kids haven't seen this area, so we're just we're in the process of our land claim, and it's and as soon as we resolve it, then we'll be moving here. So just wanted everybody to really get reintroduced to this area. We haven't lived here for over 30 years, 40 years in most cases. For those of us who remember living in this area, I think for me it was 1963 when we moved out from here to Little Buffalo. There used to be a lot of people here. Yeah, they lived all the way around this lake here. This lake is Prairie Lake, Mihkowapikwaniy. Then when the people decided to join Treaty 8, and create a reserve here in 1933, and then when the commissioner came, when he was asking everybody all their names, and they were mostly Laboucans in this area, so he called it. He was trying to call it Laboucan Lake, but then he misspelt it, and it ended up being Laboucan Lake. So, so it was really a misspelling that. So at some point in time, we're going to change it back to Prairie Lake. So Mihkowapikwaniy, because that's the original name. Yeah. And there was lots of people right around this lake, but most died. Over half died during the Spanish flu epidemic of 1918. There's a couple of mass graves down this way. There's so many people died. Then after a lot of people moved out, probably because of the memory, the bad memories. So some left to other communities, and as time went by, there was really nobody ended up living here. But I think it's probably good in some way because it sure left the land pristine. We only come in here to go hunt and pick herbs and shoot ducks. I think it's a reintroduction of. I think probably our ancestors are probably rejoicing with us. We're right on the site here of an old fur trader, just right there. Old Josie Larondel moved here in 1913, right on this site here. He had a homestead here. So this quarter section was his, but it's been part of our traditional land all along. So it's our reserve now. It's our reserve area, and this is really the reason why we chose this spot. Because it's first of all it's clear, and also there's a lot of history here. A lot of all the old people have a story of this place one way or the other. Some were born here. A lot came to just for their parents and grandparents. Yeah. For myself, I wanted it here, for people to get reintroduced to the land, because there's a history here. People connect. People always talk about moving here, so now they can have the chance, to move back. I think it's fairly significant, and I think a lot of the reason why we wanted the camp here is because not only the reintroduction, but people to get used to being here, so they can go down the road here and look at places where they can, live. because there'll be some people moving up here as soon as we get this land settled. And it's, I think it's pretty closest we've ever been. The prevalent theme, though, is of course a memorial and storytelling and youth leadership. The location has changed, and I think people also change. Like there's more people here, different people. We have pretty much the same facilitators, but everything else is, others are showing up, and we have more community members being here and helping. So it's really a community effort, because when we first started this camp here, it was all overgrown, and people pitched in, the carpenters are here working non-stop for 2 weeks, get this to get it ready, and then other people pitched in, we had so many students here that were interested in working that, we had a hard time finding, work for them, but it got done, they're raking and they're cutting grass and cutting wood and, making bridges, So it is a community effort. I think it brought the community together, and that was one of the reasons for having it here this year. We've always had, traditionally we've had strong leadership within Laboucan, or Prairie Lake area. And a lot of the theme of these summer camps and also the winter camps is leadership. We want these young people to have the skills to be able to take over the leadership when the time comes, to have some skills, some idea. We want them to have, honesty, integrity, that kind of leadership. And besides knowing the stories of where you come from, to give you that good background. So I think in those terms, we're successful every year, because we don't really have that really high mark to achieve. It's a kind of like a steady progression of. So we get different teenagers. We have kind of the same teenagers, as they grow older. But then we have a whole bunch more young people that are here every year. And then we have others that come in and support us from elsewhere, so that makes it better. So at some point in time, we'll have our own people doing the organizing, doing the facilitation, So we're thankful for all the other people that come and help.
If it hits those poles, it doesn't count unless it wraps around. If it wraps around any of the poles, then you get 3 points. And if you go over,
it gets stuck in the middle,
it'll be 3. Yeah.
And what if it goes through the net?
I know, we're always trying to get
If it goes on top of everything,
these young people to take care of the environment, to be aware of the environment, and to decolonize. There's so much lateral violence that happens in our communities that we normalize it. So I think with workshops and camps like this, you start realizing that lateral violence is not normal. It's time we get out of it. It's time we start practicing our culture and our language and learning how to respect people. And in these camps, you never really have any incident. You never have any kind of behavior. So we always display model behavior in these camps, and I think that's probably why it's so good sometimes to come to an area where there's others that are caring for others, rather than trying to tear you down. and they're a little problematic to get going, to set up. But but in the long run, I think it makes all the difference in the world, because then you hear it for months and even for years later, how good a time that little kids will come up to you and say, "Hey, when's the next one?" Or teenagers will come up and say, "Hey, I really learned something." So I think that's the trend. That's what we're trying to achieve. Leadership, longevity.